Good evening and welcome to session 3 of the Furman Prison Education Partnership's inaugural speaker series, Behind and Beyond Bars, Perspectives on the U.S. Prison System. I'm Sally Morris-Cody, and I, along with Laura Morris, co-direct FPEP. During tonight's program, we invite you to participate by submitting your questions using the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Towards the end of the program, Furman student Elise Dudley will ask our panelists a few of your questions. Before I hand it over to Furman student Sydney Cottrell to introduce tonight's panelists, I want to give a brief introduction to FPEP. FPEP launched in 2018 with 2 goals. First, to bring transformative higher education opportunities to university students, incarcerated students, and students recently released from prison, bringing them into classrooms together as equals to engage in dialogue and learn from people with whom they might not otherwise interact. Second, FPEP aims, through events like this one, to inform thought and action in the Furman community around issues of mass incarceration and reentry. Through our student group on campus, we offer students opportunities to engage with, learn from, and support incarcerated students at our partner institution, Perry Correctional, a prison in Pelzer, South Carolina. If you are interested in learning more about FPEP or becoming involved in our work, please email us at at furman.edu. Soon we'll have an official FPEP website on Furman's website, which will house videos of our speaker series, as well as answers to questions we're unable to get to during the Q&A period. Please keep your eye out for it. Now, I'm happy to welcome one of the Furman students involved in FPEP, Sydney Cottrell, to introduce our panelists for tonight. Sydney?
Good evening. My name is Sydney Cottrell, and I'm excited to welcome Damien, Juan, Mack, and Kristen to be with us. I'm going to share the biographies they wrote for themselves by way of introduction. Damien is a 34-year-old African-American who is exposed to drug dealing and violence at an early age. He is what some would consider America's worst nightmare. However, he is determined to defy all stereotypes and become one of our country's greatest strengths. Damien's world revolves around his relationships with his 4 children. He enjoys working out, deep conversations, and he is an avid reader. He hopes to provide students with a window into the realities of the criminal justice system in America. Juan is a hard worker who loves basketball, playing cards, and most of all, his daughter. When he is home, Juan enjoys housework and takes pride in his possessions. His favorite food is seafood, when someone else is cooking it. Juan has been institutionalized since he was a juvenile. After his current sentence, he will have spent 28 out of 42 years of his life in jail. Mack is a 25-year-old university graduate from Pensacola, Florida. On the outside, he enjoys hanging out with friends, shopping, traveling, and going to the beach. Mack is currently taking part in the Transitional Work Release Program, where he is able to hold the same job he did while he was in college. On his days off, he plays poker, watches sports, works out, and reads. Upon release, he has plans to start a nonprofit to work with at-risk youth. Kristen is an adjunct instructor in the Department of Sociology and director of the Inside Out Prison Exchange Program at Nicholls State University in Thibodaux, Louisiana. Thank you, Kristen, for making this night possible. In partnership with Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, Kristen facilitated Louisiana's first Inside Out course at the Lafourche Parish Correctional Complex in the spring semester of 2020. Prior to teaching, Kristen worked in the field of social work in several capacities, such as crisis counseling, substance abuse counseling, school social work, and food bank administration. Please welcome Damien, Juan, Mack, and Kristen.
Hello.
Good evening.
We are so glad to have you here. Just so that we can make sure everybody is familiar who is who. Mack, if you'll raise your hand. And Damien, awesome, and Juan.
I'm Kristen.
And this is Kristen.
In case I couldn't figure that out.
So before we start, I want to give our audience just a little background on where the 3 of you are. Damien, Juan, and Mack are currently incarcerated at Lafourche Transitional Work Release Program in Raceland, Louisiana. The Work Release Program is designed to give soon-to-be-released individuals the opportunity to work and earn wages in order to assist in the transition to life after prison, which can be incredibly difficult. The program also offers a variety of additional services such as GED preparation and testing, alcohol and drug rehabilitation, and opportunities to take some college courses and industrial certification classes, such as welding, forklift operation, and the like. Mack will be speaking from his experience at the Work Release Program and the larger Lafourche Parish Correctional Complex only. However, Damien and Juan have been incarcerated at a variety of facilities over their time in prison and will be sharing stories from those other experiences as well. Okay, so to start us off, I would like to ask you all to describe some of the rules that help folks survive and thrive in prison. So what are some of the general rules for navigating that daily life? And any one of you can start.
I mean, you speaking as far as like the rules of the facility or the rules that the prisoners go by. I mean, it's 2 sets of rules.
The informal rules that you all know help you navigate and live in that environment.
Well, I mean, all the rules in all the facilities are pretty the same as far as like, you know, no violence, no fighting, no gambling. We'll try to be respectful, things of that sort. You know, mind others, you know, things like that. You know, no stealing. You know, your regular rules. I would say.
Remember last time you spoke to the chaos?
Man.
Last time you spoke to the chaos, what you wake up to.
Yeah, but I mean, she's asking about the rules. So I was just talking about the rules, but we're gonna get to that part though.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what are some of the informal rules? So I remember Mac saying like you always have to say excuse me.
Well, that what she
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Informal. So
Informal.
she meaning like the rules that we
Yeah.
have.
So mine is the simple fact of having respect for others. I mean, when you're in line with somebody, when other people having conversations, you most likely supposed to say excuse me. You know, it just it's just something different from me from school because I'm usually known and everybody really have respect for me and stuff like that. But when I carry myself in here, it's like you gotta always keep your always know be aware of your surroundings. As far as respecting others because you never know what I'm saying, how that person might feel. Like even when we pass by, even when I pass by sometimes that I don't have to bump them or nothing. I always have to say excuse me. Like we always respect one another because you never know how they might feel. They might people on the other side and be like, dang, this man ain't got no respect for me, man. I'm gonna have to say what's up with him. So it's always, respecting people, conversation, listening, and kind of looking in the eye, when they speak to you and stuff.
Mm. Are there other informal things like that that you generally get taught within your first few weeks or months within prison?
Yes, ma'am. Mind your business is one of the biggest ones. Mind your business, and if it don't have nothing to do with you, then you see it, but you don't see it.
What do you mean you see it, but you don't see it?
I mean, you can see something going on that you feel some type of way about, but if it really don't directly affect you, then you see it, but you don't see it.
Just act like it didn't happen.
Just act like it didn't happen.
Let's pretend like I just threw a honey bun right there at you.
Now, see, look, Damien was he was really on the right track when he said, I mean, it depends, because I mean, some places down here is prisons, and some places down here they call them like satellite camps. Like when you say satellite camp, that mean they run by like private owners. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you, I mean, in some places you go, I mean, you got to realize that, I mean, if people in that prison, like, I mean, I've been doing it a long time. You've been doing it a long time, but if people in that prison know you, I mean, and you got respect, I mean, you really don't have no problem. But sometimes, even if you pay respect in some of them prisons, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes you don't get it back. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to force your way to get it back and do something that you don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like fight. I mean, harm somebody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just for the say that when I need my space, I need my space. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk. But sometimes a lot of people in prison, they be frightened, but they got a shell up. So they force themselves to fit in with the dudes that's up in the bed, I mean, doing the wrong thing. So they forced to kind of like, entertain that, just to be, safe, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it really depends where you at. But like in a place like this here, I mean, I mean, to me, I mean, I've been to a lot of prisons and a lot of satellite camps. And that's the best it's gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mean, because a place like this, I mean, it really, I mean, open your eyes and help you. I mean, these people help you, take that first step, you know what I'm saying? Find out who you really is, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't want to help yourself, you know what I'm saying? They still trying to force you, look, help here, so help yourself, but every place not like that,
Every place definitely not like that.
Well, speaking of where you all are, just to let our audience know, Kristen called the particular program y'all are in. It's a relatively new facility, new program. Called it the Hilton of prisons that offers a lot of different experiences for y'all to participate in educational opportunities. Can you tell me how you all got to know each other?
I met Kel when I first got into the dorm. Juan. I met Juan when I first got into the dorm. I was having trouble with my pen, to call home and stuff, and you know, he showed me, you know what I'm saying, the ins and out of, you know, learning, you know. And he also, you know, gave me a couple pointers like, you know, don't let everybody know, you know what I'm saying, your PIN number or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Because you got people in here who try to manipulate you, you know, to, you know, get something out of you, like get phone calls out of you and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So be careful with all that. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, if you want to put money on the phone or something, make sure you put like $1 or something, like $1 bill or something. Enough time for you to say, hey, you know, I'm fine, I'm good, and, you know, go on about your way, you know, go on about your jokes.
So did you all participate in the Inside Out class together?
No, ma'am. I mean, Damien, them really, you know, they anticipated in it first, so they really opened the doors. Cause you know, once I met him, he was already gone. But once he went to telling me about it, and he was like, you know, Juan, man, look, that'll be a good class for you, man. And this, you know, for the, you know, enter. And I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But then I wasn't really, you know, into getting into it. But, you know, Miss Tyra came, you know, and, you know, she made sure I, you know, got into it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, she played a big part in helping me out getting the class and staying in there. And, you know, so, you know, but me and Mack joined the class together.
Okay. So the class is the Inside Out Prison Exchange Program course that Kristen Kale brought to the Lafourche Parish Correctional Complex and the Lafourche Transitional Work Release Program. And that program is one that is coming to Furman, and it brings university students, in this case, students at Nicholls State University, where Kristen teaches, into correctional facilities to take college courses with students who are incarcerated there. And so all three of you, is that correct, took place in one of these classes and took a course with college student from Nicholls State?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What was that like?
It was interesting. It was interesting.
At first.
At
What's
first,
it like at first?
I mean, it was kind of nerve-wracking, nervous, kind of scary, you know, feeling like you're gonna be judged, feeling like you're gonna be looked at as an animal, you know, not understood. But you know, once I entered the classroom and I ain't received those glares, I became comfortable. It took a minute for me to actually open up and start talking. But you know, once I seen like people, you know, they were there to really try to understand the situation and really see what was going on within the justice system and you know, what was going on with us. Then, you know, eventually I opened up and I started talking. And the more we, you know, we spoke and the more we shared our perspective in life, we seen that we had, you know, actually had things in common.
Well, for me, my first time, I was kind of nervous joining the class too. I mean, I was hand selected, so I had no idea that I was going to be in this class. Just sent a letter to all of us, letting us know that we hand selected and we had choose to participate. But when I worked in the class, when I went to the class, I was like, Nicholls State. Well, you know, me coming from Nicholls State, I kind of like worried that I'll see somebody I know, maybe somebody start, you know, judging me, putting me on Facebook or social media saying, hey man, this man locked up. I really wanted to keep me being incarcerated like low key, you know. But as I started getting to the class, I was participating, you know, sharing my opinions and what I felt about why prisons exist. And have I ever hurt somebody or what somebody ever done to harm me? You know, I just started, you know, really graduating to, you know, coming to class every Thursday, you know, because I wanted to share a light and know what's going on outside, and I wanted to let people know what's going on inside.
And it's
Right.
important to note that they all meet together for our think tank, which is the active program for the Inside Out course. So they may not have taken the class together, but we still do projects together as a think tank, like this one.
So a lot of the students that have participated in the Inside Out courses at Lafourche still participate and meet together and read and do a lot of projects around issues in the criminal justice system.
Yes, ma'am.
So part of where I was going with that was wanting to ask y'all about the importance of relationships that you form in prison and sometimes through these different programs that you have access to. So I know when we talked last week, you all were talking about how important it is to form relationships and the types of relationships that happen there. Could you speak some to that?
Each other. You talking about with each other?
With people from the community and each other.
Well, first of all, being in here, being in jail, being incarcerated is a time of struggle. I mean, it's a time when you feel like you're at the lowest, point of your life or whatever. So, when you form a bond with somebody that's incarcerated, y'all at an equal advantage, meaning you don't have nothing to offer him, he don't have nothing to offer you, but companionship, friendship, whatever you want to call it, genuine friendship. So, when you form a bond, it's like the purest bond you can form because it has no ulterior motives besides, we going through this struggle together and we here to pick each other up when you need it. I mean, I don't care how big, how strong, how hard you want to play, like everybody needs somebody to sometimes vent to or somebody to show them some type of compassion, especially in times like these. So the bonds and the friendship you form while you in prison with certain people, they are very important because they help you through your hard times. There's somebody when you may feel aggravated, may feel like you want to fight or may feel like you want to harm somebody, they have it's good to have somebody with a level head on their shoulder to tell you, well, maybe, you need to look at the situation differently, or maybe you shouldn't do this, or maybe you should rethink this, you know what I mean? So these relationships are very important.
Right, and like most of the time, you're in there, you spend most of the time with them and stuff, so you get accustomed when you're working out with this guy. At the end of the day, you sharing a meal with this guy, like you getting your own hookup. Like everybody gets some noodles and they put in pitch in stuff, and they offer you things, and when you start building that bond with them, watching movies together, they start venting to you and stuff. They start telling you what things that's going on in their life, relationship problems, kids and stuff, and they just look for you to listen and to give them feedback on how you feel about the situation. And with three of these guys and some other guys, I felt a strong bond with these guys because we all go through things. Like I said, we all got family out there going through some things. And sometimes you really don't want to vent out to people, on the outside world. You rather vent out to your brothers because they always gonna give you they good opinion. They ain't gonna steer you the wrong way, But now, like sometimes what I tell when I vent to some of the guys in here, mainly these three of my boy around the curve, they always, it's like they always been through this before. They already know what's gonna happen before it even happened because they seen it before. It's like getting wisdom from somebody, your big brothers and stuff like that,
Is it hard when you transition out, when you're released? What type of toll does that take on those relationships?
No, I want to say it's hard because, now like you said, like you got people, who don't want nothing from you because it's nothing to give, but now how a close friend is. And so, when you get out, you can easily bump me on the phone, or if you need something, I'm there for you,
And it's especially like if you transitioning out and you leaving one of your, partners still in, it's easy because they struggle, what they're going through on a daily. So what you can do to help make their time a little lighter. And you want to do that because you don't want to, you feel their pain because you've been through it. So you are eager to, send them money or answer the phone when they call or do whatever they, may need you to do to help them, make their time a little easier.
But most time they don't really be looking for money. They just simply want somebody to talk to,
Yeah, I mean, it's like even though they still walking in the shoes that you was walking in, and I mean, and when you get released, sometimes, sometimes they just feel like you got so much love for a person that you never growed up in the house with, or you never played basketball with, and you met as a grown man inside the prison system. It just feel like you just hate to leave him behind, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, a lot of men, you know what I'm saying? They hold what they hold back because they men, you know what I'm saying? So that's what they got to be. So it really make you just want to break down and be like, man, I know you got 50, 60 years, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look, man, I'm gonna miss you, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, we still tell each other, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just off the record, I mean, we men, but we still tell each other, look, man, I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? As a friend, but when you out there and he called and the phone and it's time for him to get off the phone, however he got to do it, it still feel like you walking in the shoes that he walking in because you know what he going through, you know. But you got so many things in the world that you can do to snap your mind back to where you realize that look, I'm you know, I got freedom, so I'm in the world. But you can just imagine what his mind do. But you tell him things and make things happen for him. Tell him things, show him that you care about him, just so he can feel good. Sometimes you might can feel good for a whole week knowing that you talk to somebody that really love you, but you're gonna share that same story that he told you with somebody else because it feels good, and you want the person that you're telling it to know that you're feeling good. It ain't no walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
And actually, when you do transition out, keeping in contact with somebody that's
a lot.
it mean a lot, and it helps you also because you could tell them situations you going on out there in the free world, what we call it, when you're out there in the free world, and if things get hard out there, they could be your voice of reasoning to say, you know what, don't go back down that same route of selling drugs, or don't pick up that gun, just try to stay strong and stay focused on doing what you said you was gonna do when you was in here. But like when you get out, that world is a lot of distractions, and you have this big plan, but sometimes you get throw curveballs, and it tends you to want to go back to your life, and they could be your voice of reason to keep you on that straight and narrow.
Motivate you to keep going.
Real talk.
Can you tell me some? You just said that when you get outside, life throws you some curveballs, and it's helpful to have that motivation that helps keep you on the straight and narrow. What are some of the curveballs that you've seen other folks get hit with that might have led them back, or that you yourself, if you want to share, have experienced?
As far as me, like I'm saying, me and myself, like when you release from jail, you have these big plans of what you want to do. As far as living right, and trying to do the right thing. And when you're out there, and sometimes when you're filling out application after application and you get denied and get discouraged, on top of that, you may have children that, since you have been released now, everybody looking at daddy, or if your parent, your mother or someone they're not financially stable, and they know the life you used to live, not that they're doing it to hurt you, but they know the life you used to live, so they automatically look into you like, well, I know my son will come out here and, rather he, sell drugs, whatever he do, he gonna come out here and get money and go and help me with my bills or whatever. So you feel those pressures of life. Like the last time I went home, it just, things wasn't right in my family, so it was pressure. I could say I used as an excuse to do what I was so used to become accustomed to doing. So I just used my family situation as an excuse to do what I really wanted to do anyway. So I didn't put forth too much fight in trying to do right. I tried, but once the first time I ran into that curveball, I just used my family situation as an excuse to, go back to my previous lifestyle. But it's all kind of pressures, family members, baby mothers, children, your friends, especially that's the biggest one, your partners, because when you come home, when you're gone, some of them tend to forget about you, but as soon as you step out this gate, is I love you, and they bringing all these negative influences around you, and if you're not mentally strong, you'll fall back into your previous way of living, because everybody looking for you to be on the same type of time you was on before you left. And sometimes you feel like you have to prove that I am that same dude. Like sometimes you go home with the wrong mentality of, well, prison ain't break me, I'm still that same guy, but that's a foolish mentality.
Right.
I want to say this. When he was saying about the curveball, I just had got out of prison doing 7.5 years, and I'm here to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. And when I tell you I wasn't out 2 days, and I was living the same life that I had left. I mean, if you don't watch it, the life that you live, it comes right back into your eyesight so fast. But it's on you to just let it pass by, or it's on you to grab it. But getting out of prison without having nothing, I don't have no brother, so mama being on drugs, sister being on drugs, and and that's all I got. I mean, I got an auntie, but when I mean, it's just sometimes it be hard. I mean, just and I mean, and don't get me wrong, I tried, but it's the things that I had to go through to try. I never even done that before. For as going to get an ID, get a birth certificate, social security card. I mean, I never done that in my life to go get it. I mean, I never had that in my possession at my age. So the person I'm dealing with was trying to give me the ins and the outs to try to go get it. But when I tried to go get it, it's like I was getting denied. Like I ain't even existed. School coming up, I mean, I got a daughter, so I mean, and then, once you put 1 foot in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard to pull that 1 foot back and be like, look, I ain't gonna do this. I mean, I know everybody got choice. I mean, you do what you want to do, but by you living that lifestyle all your life, it's just hard to pull that one step back, so the curveball just comes so fast, you know what I'm saying, to where you don't even see it coming.
I feel like one of the biggest curveballs we overwhelm ourselves with is once you then live a certain lifestyle for so long, you become accustomed to that lifestyle, and it's the fear of the unknown of trying to do something else that you feel comfortable in your world of chaos, and it's the fear of trying to do something else, trying to do what's right. Like, you don't know the outcome of this. I know the outcome of my previous lifestyle, even though it may lead me to places like this, but I know what to look for. I know this. I'm familiar with this. I'm not familiar with the right way. And it's just the fear that you overwhelm yourself with, man, I'm a convicted felon, man, and people not gonna hire me. It's the things that you tell yourself that defeats your own, that defeats you even putting forth a value, a valid effort of trying. It mentally. So,
Right.
that's a curveball you create within your own self, but you have to face your fears. You have to, defy your fears and push forward, especially once you get tired of doing this here, because this not what's up. I mean, you're just wasting your life, especially if you're not in a place like, LaFou's Parish, where you get help and trying to, programs and things like of that sort to actually put your life on a right path. I mean, most jails you don't receive those type of programs, so you really just going home in a worse position than you was before you came, because now you done spent all these years, you done wasted all this time, so you feel like you behind. You done grew so many amounts of years, and you feeling like, man, I'm supposed to be in this point in my life, and now you're going out here with no certifications, no type of program, nothing to really steer you in the right path. So now you feel like you even further behind than before you came. So that's pressure on you just to go back to your lifestyle to try to get money or do whatever.
Right, because you all face incredible barriers when you leave of having that criminal background, right? In terms of what you are barred from doing or allowed to do.
Yes, man. I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
the word felon, it carries a great stigma. You are actually ostracized to a point of being labeled a felon.
Right. Well, you were just mentioning resources inside and feeling like you were wasting some of your time. I know that some of our students are interested in what are the resources available to you in terms of rehabilitation and mental health. Folks would say that often the daily experience of being incarcerated is traumatic and chaotic in itself. What are some of those resources that you have for dealing with that and getting yourself prepared to go back out?
As far as here or as far as
Everywhere else.
I mean, there's a big difference. It's a very
Well,
big.
how about we do both? How about we start with everywhere else, and then you can transition into some of the recent stuff you've been doing.
I mean, other places. Repeat the question one more time. What's the
Resources
So-
resource available? All right, yeah. I mean, other places you really don't have no resources. The guys around you are your resources, or your people who you've been to. You don't have no counselors, no one you feel like you could talk to. Because I mean, in other places you don't talk to the correction officers on that type of time, because they talk down to you and you may curse them out, and y'all at certain different odds. So you're not gonna go to them with your problems. You're gonna either handle your problems yourself, call on one of your brothers to help you with your problems. Like but I mean, here you have counselors you could call on. Like if you need somebody to talk to, you just could go to the CO and let them know that you need to talk to a counselor. And I mean, within minutes you'll be up there and have someone to talk to, to tell them whatever problem you're going through and to get some type of help on whatever it may be. But I mean, other places you don't have those type of things, so you just have to deal with that trauma, have to deal with that pain on your own the best way you know how. And
can you share some of the ways that prison can be traumatic, or that it can be chaotic, for those who don't really have a sense of what it's like on a day-to-day basis?
Man,
So like not here.
not here. I know. I was at, well, let me see, I think that 13, I was in Tensall. Tensall. It's a satellite camp of the parish jail, whatever. Every day is chaotic. I mean, you have a lot of drugs coming through. You have a lot of knives. So every day, you're seeing somebody getting either stabbed up or fighting, ODing, passing out, things of that sort. I mean, you got a lot of homosexual activity, so people fighting over that. One guy actually hung himself. I mean, he was involved in homosexual activity, and it got out to his family, and I guess he felt bad about it, or was ashamed about it, whatever, and he hung himself. When I woke up, I thought he had a fight and somebody knocked him out because he was just stretched out on the floor. But when I asked what was going on, I found out that he had they just cut him down off the sheet. He had hung himself overnight or whatever. But and now, I mean, that was just it. They just told you, we seen what was going on. There wasn't nobody to talk to, because in places like that, things like that, they try to keep under wraps because they don't want, DOC find out about it, because they gonna receive consequences for all the corrupt things that was going on inside their jail. I mean, a lot of the stabbings wasn't getting reported. Like I could stab somebody 20-something times over there, and all you will receive is 10 days in the hole. I mean, so
when you say the hole, can you tell us what you mean by that?
It's solitary confinement. I mean, 23-1, you locked in a cell for 23 hours a day. They let you out for 1 hour to take a shower. Kill, I know you got a lot of, Juan.
Yeah, I mean,
Traumatizing prison
I don't been in a lot of prisons, and sometimes dudes, I don't been in a dome where I was kind of like one of the older guys in the dome, but I had respect because I had been in prison for a nice bit of time. But I don't been in prison. I mean, I was at a place one time where dudes were stabbing each other so much to where they had to get the helicopter to come land in the big field next to the prison, transfer the inmate to make sure we get to the hospital fast, because a car or vehicle wasn't gonna get him there fast enough. And I was the person that I took care of the mop bucket and the mop, because I like to clean. So every time somebody got stabbed, they'll call me Flow Man, and I'd be like, I'm on my way. And I was the one who would come make sure that I get everything up, and I know it was wrong, but a couple of years ago, I wasn't the same person. I wasn't doing no jugging, no stabbing. They was doing the stabbing, but I clean it up and get it ready, for the next person that's about to get jugged, 20, 30 minutes from now. And it was crazy. It was so crazy to
as far as being traumatized, the sound of somebody getting stabbed with object that's not sharp but not too sharp, you'll never forget that sound. It's like a skin popping sound.
Right. And it ain't no knife. It's like
It's a
paper.
piece of
Just say a toenail clipper.
Yeah.
Like the toenail clipper.
A piece of the fence.
And they break it off and they
Sure.
and they might sharpen it for 2-3 months.
Or the sound of somebody getting hit with they call it a lock and a sock, where you put, a lock in a couple of socks and you beat somebody with those sounds. You'll never forget. I don't care how long you live, you'll never forget the sound of when that lock meet that flesh and that bone. You'll never forget it. You'll never forget the sounds of hearing that man hollering. And some part of the good and you want to help stop it, but if you get into it, it's not no telling what he did to receive what he getting. So if you get in it, now you have to take on that whole walk upon yourself. I mean, if it's a friend of mine, yeah, it's worth it. But if I don't really know, I just mind my business, because me helping him, I take on his problem. So it's a struggle, because you seeing somebody getting brutally home and you want to go help them, but if you do help them, then you putting yourself in grave danger.
Right.
Look, at one time, and this was in 2018, in the beginning of 2018, it had got so bad to where the officers had wanted. I was at this place where the officers wanted the knives and stuff out the dome, where they wanted this Pacific knife that a dude had got stabbed up bad with. It had got so bad to where they wanted to make sure that nobody tried to flush the knife down the toilet. Where they turned the water off. They turned the water off from, let's just say, 5 o'clock in the evening to 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock the next morning when another shift come on. Now picture, they got 4 toilets. One of them is for the PP and 3 of them is for to do the number 2 in. So picture you in a dome with 100 people, and some of the dudes that's kind of running the dome, they got this certain toilet that they use. So picture if he used the bathroom and the next one used the bathroom and the next one. So I'm figuring later on that night, I can't eat nothing spicy. I ate something spicy that night. It's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to use the restroom bad. Now picture you got to use the bathroom on top of 6, 7 other dudes that don't use the bathroom already. Now you taking toilet paper just to put it inside the toilet to hide what they don't put down there, just so you can use it, so it would be no splash. That's hard. Man, it sounds like a joke, but man, when I tell you, listen.
Yeah.
Man, it's like a movie. Man, sometimes you think in your mind, man, is this real? Right. And I had been out all them years, and I still used to be saying, man, is this real?
Right.
You got to come right back and holler.
And so y'all were saying that where you are now, you have access to talk to somebody, right? You have access if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, a place like this place here, they should have been come up with this here. I don't know how many years. I'm gonna say 100. They came up with this, I think, 100 years ago.
They being people that design prisons.
Excuse me?
They should have come up with it. They being people who design prisons should have come up with this facility.
Yeah, with a setup like this here, because this is the excellent setup. You just not entering the classes. They working with you. I done been to places where they got classes. They gave you the paper. All right, fill it out. All right, look, we're gonna have class. And it don't be the teachers that's teaching you. It be the inmates that's running the classes. So
okay,
I might be cool with you and you an inmate and you the teacher. I might just tell you I'm gonna come in and sign my name. Everything good? Yeah, you good. You can go back to the dome. Just so you can get back to the activity that's going on. But this place, they're gonna make sure you be here, focus, heart, body, soul, whatever. They're gonna make sure that you here to handle your business, for to give you a change of thought. Like, man, if it's easy like this here, on the outside, I know it can't be that hard neither. Because the same stuff you're doing in here, they're getting you prepared for things that's out there. going to school. I mean, they got it all, man. I mean, welding, forklift. I mean, they teaching you.
Money classes and everything.
I mean, sometimes you ain't got to put your name down. They might just put you on there just to see what's up with you.
But most of what's more even more important is, I mean, they're giving you trades. They're giving you certifications, credentials you could take out there. I mean, the good time classes, everybody wants good time, everybody wants to go home. And the information that's taught is very valuable, being that if you can get in a position in life to use them. But what's most important is going home with those certifications, with those credentials that to show that I am certified in doing such and such, because it opened up a lot more doors than you just saying I'm a convicted felon just trying to fill out an application. And when you have that certification, it gives you a little more leeway. It makes you just from the mental aspect, the confidence it gives you for the going and trying to find certain jobs. You feel like, well, I got this certification. I know one thing. They may see that I'm a convicted felon, but when they see that I'm certified in this certain area, it gives me a little more of a boost to go just mentally. And that's the biggest thing. I mean, defeating yourself is the biggest thing. And all, the mental blocks that you put up for yourself, being that you're incarcerated and you just thinking I'm just going home, I'm a convicted felon, man, the people not gonna hire me. On top of being black, I mean, and you're a convicted felon, you feeling like, man, the people not gonna hire me. Them people ain't gonna, whatever. So just that alone, the certifications and the programs they have here, and the jobs that they help us get here, just that alone, just give you that more boost to even, push you forward and changing your life.
Or getting the job. I mean, you got to realize this, the place we at now. I mean, just say you got 2 weeks left. I mean, you got some places be like, well, you just going home. I mean, you ain't got to worry about no job. I mean, this place here, I mean, the captain and the lieutenant, I mean, they try to make sure that you got a job all the way to day one.
So they connect you when you leave, you're walking in.
Yeah, they want you to get out, keep that job. If you want to go through with that, or if you figure you don't like that, get something else. But they make sure that they job up in their heart, they doing it for as their job, and they doing it because they care for it, just making sure that you got a job to go to when you get out.
And that's a big advantage, going home to a job.
Yeah, I mean that's a big part. I mean that ain't nothing small. I mean that's big.
So when you've been released, I know Juan and Damien, y'all been incarcerated before. Juan specifically, when you've been released from other facilities, what was the experience like? You presumably did not have a job when you were walking out.
No.
What was release like?
What you mean? I never had a job, period. I've been home 6 times. I ain't never had a job, period. I mean,
did they just open the gate and let you go? Like, what, for those who don't know what it's like to be released, are you given clothes? Are you dropped off at a specific place? I mean, what's the release?
No, I mean,
it depends on how far you're away from the address you're released to. I mean, if you're upstate, then they give you a bus ticket. It'll give you like $10, tell you, catch the bus home, but you release. If your family members don't mail you clothes or come send you clothes, you released in the clothes you wore while you was in prison.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're issued uniform,
ma'am.
The clothes you wore in prison, you mean you're issued uniform, or you have other clothes that you can wear?
I mean, like the jogging pants and the sweatsuits you buy off a commissary, or if you don't have that, I mean, the clothes you issued in prison.
Got it. And no other resources, as you said, to connect you to a job or anything like that?
No.
Previous experience?
I mean, there is other work releases, but it's not. I mean, you can go home to your job, yes, ma'am, and other work releases, but it's not set up like, I mean, how it is over here.
Gotcha.
Now, resources and programs in other jails, not too much.
I mean, you got to fight to get in them.
Yeah.
Up there. I mean, it just. I see some dudes being in a program in other places too. I mean, I ain't gonna never say no man don't deserve to be in there, but I know they ain't supposed to be in there. But they got dudes that really need supposed to be in there, that really want the help, can't even get in there because they don't have the eye and I'm not gonna say the eye and the respect and know who they're supposed to know to get in them. I mean, you got to know somebody in them other place. It ain't just no getting in there or just writing something to get in there. You know how they got, and these people deal with a lot of people, but they make sure that everybody get their fair chance. You know, it's on you. And I don't see people don't messed up in the program over here, and they still give them another chance for the gird on and help yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's more than fair.
Yeah. I have still so many questions I want to ask, but I also see questions rolling in from our audience. And so I am going to turn it over to Elise, who y'all met last week. She is going to facilitate some Q&A from our audience. Elise?
Hello, Damien, Juan, Mack. Thank you so much for that interesting and insightful discussion. My name is Elise Dudley, and I'm a senior and member of the FPEP student group. And we've had a number of questions come in from our audience over the last 45 minutes. Thank you. And remember, if you have a question that you would like our panel to answer, please submit it in the Q&A box. So our first question tonight for you all is, how has COVID-19 affected your life in the prison system and your relationships with others? And also, what resources have been provided to keep you safe?
I mean, like when the pandemic first started, you got to think like we were on the inside looking out. I mean, all we really knew was going on the news, so it was like looking at a scary movie or something. I mean, we thinking the whole world walking around with rubber suits on and things like that. And anybody that was close to us that even looked like they was about to sniffle or sneeze, we running away from them. But I mean, a lot was done. I mean, a lot of cleaning was done. We was provided with masks.
We had hand sanitizer everywhere.
Hand sanitizer everywhere. Yes, I mean, yeah, and
I think we were one of the very few correctional facilities that had 0 outbreaks.
yeah, we yeah.
Knock on wood.
But
they had exact.
yeah, outside when we leave the dorm and stuff, we always had to wear our masks and stuff. So, and we wasn't really going outside though. So, you know, it couldn't really. I really thought it was safe, but as far as like COs having anything like that, we had to keep our guards up. But coming to the work release thing, at first I was kind of shooken, you know, being in that world, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, me not having the vaccine and all, I was like, well, if I even catch this thing, man, I'm probably gonna have to be sent to Angola, and Angola like the biggest prison and stuff. So, I made sure, you know, when I talk to my mom on the phone, she's like, look, man, keep your mask on, even keep your mask on when you sleep, wash your hands, hand sanitizer. So I was just trying to, you know, I'm doing whatever I can do to get home and not have it.
And it, like Max said, when he mentioned his mom, made me think about it, man, it was very stressful also because, you know, you have loved ones out there. So we were worried about our families, things like that. So, you know, we was always on the phone, you know, calling, trying to, you know, make sure everybody wasn't writing the first question as soon as they answer the phone. If you ain't sick, how you feeling? You don't have a fever, you know, we just worried about their well-being. That part was stressful, was, you know, very stressful. It affected our inside out classes. At the time we was having inside out and the college students was coming in. So we actually had to convert to doing our meetings over Zoom. So that was like that affected our class, the pandemic, you know, that affected our class.
I'm sure many students can relate to changing the way that we do class too here.
Right.
Another question we have from our audience is, what do you think should be done to reform the criminal justice system?
That's a big one.
Basically, like what we doing right now. I mean, that play a big part. I mean, to let people, you know, just, you know, let them know, you know what I'm saying, that it can be a change, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, cause this is a nice class. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know too many people know about it, but I mean, it teaches you a lot, you know what I'm saying? I know it taught me a lot, you know, and, you know, I mean, especially the program, I mean, just program period. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the classes, you know.
Over here, we got pre-release, we got anger management, we got risk management,
Parenting.
we got parenting classes. As far as in my decision, what I think should happen, like even first offenders should have like an 18-month class instead of just going to prison. Just have an 18-month class to be mandatory. You know, have certain job skills. You know, to give them job skills, vocabulary skills, and stuff to succeed in the community. You know, because community, like once you a vulnerable person in the community, if you motivate them, if you stand behind them, they're gonna feel like they mean something, you know. But if you break them down, you know, and you know, bash their name and judge them, they're gonna feel like they're useless, you know. So we need the community to motivate these people once they get out.
Another question is, what is one stereotype about prison or incarcerated people that you wish was debunked?
That we're all just animals. I mean, that we're all bad people. People don't, I mean, I don't think people that never experienced maybe our lifestyles or been through things we've been through, I don't think they think about the circumstances surrounding our decisions of why we do some of the things we do. So they just deem us as criminals, as bad. I mean, most people that in a situation as far as mine, the reason we do the things we do is I would want to say maybe like a false premise of feeling like what I'm doing is helping my family, even though I may be hurting somebody else's family by selling, you know, the people drugs or whatever. You know, in my heart of hearts, I felt like my intention wasn't really to hurt nobody, but was just to provide for my family, even though there's other means. I understand that, but you know, that is just, it was what I was raised, you know, seeing, doing. So at a young age, my moral compass, I couldn't understand right from wrong. I just seen this was going on. So I figured like, this is, you know, this is what you do. But, you know, as you get older, you get wiser, but it's just that when you've been living that type of lifestyle for so long, you become accustomed of it. But back to your question though, like, I mean, I feel like just looking at it like we just cold-hearted, you know, murderers and killers and just criminals and bad people. Like most of these guys I done met in all of my time doing prison, I mean, these guys be talented, they be smart, they be compassionate. I mean, I've come closer with some of these guys than I've been with my own brother. So, you know, we still human. I mean, people think you go to jail, you're just a hardened criminal, but we still have feelings. You know, we may not let them show, but we still have feelings. Some guys cry under their blanket. Some guys go get in the shower and cry, but they still have feelings. They still feel, you know, they still feel judged. They still feel disappointed. They still feel that loneliness of, you know, whatever it may be, abandonment, betrayal. They feel those things. They feel those those, you know, judgmental stares that people give. They feel that, you know, and when, you know, sometimes people feel that it creates anger in their heart because they feel like this is how the world looks at me. So it is what it is. I'm gonna give them what they're looking for.
Stereotyping about like saying like, oh, we're inferior and they're superior, and we don't know, you know, we don't know the right thing, you know, we always wrong, you know, like we uneducated, we bad people, like you said, monsters, aggressive. We're really and truly like to piggyback what D was on, we all got hidden talent. You know, we got some great craftsmen, you know, some great artists, like God-given talent. You got people who know how to speak very well, you know, and to know how to get their point across. They just put in a bad situation. And I feel like with the criminal with the justice system now, it goes by, you know, they say innocent to proven guilty, but they turn around guilty to proven innocent. I feel like what's the point? Because you got some people in here, you know what I'm saying, really innocent, but you know, they just didn't have enough money to, you know, afford a lawyer and stuff. So the system just put them, want a plea, and they just put them in, you know what I'm saying, just to put them in, just to get numbers, you know what I'm saying, because prison right now is an investment, you know what I'm saying.
It's a business.
It's a business. You got caught, we supposed to be taken care of by the state, but now you got commissary, we shoot up high prices and stuff like that, and making your family have to pay for this, you know what I'm saying, with, this messing they type of, it's hurting them,
I think this last question is a good one to end on. Where or how do you find hope, and how do you find emotional support?
From my bros, from my bros that's in here, from my family, from my mother, and, biggest thing from God.
Right.
You reach out to God. I mean, some things you feel, and some things you deal with, you only can bring it to Him. So, I mean, I didn't been like in the hole for say 18 months. I'm on 23 and 1, just in there by myself. The only person I have to talk to is Him. I lose my mind. I mean, you got to reach out to somebody. You have to believe in Him. That's to help you, strengthen you to get you through it. And as far as my partners that I've met in jail that I know are true, that I know are real to me, I reach out to them for emotional support, loved ones, family. If you have somebody that's in jail, answer those phone calls, because those phone calls mean a lot to them. Just being able to talk to somebody that they know love them and care for them, because I mean, it carries them a long way.
It don't matter if you tell them, if it don't matter if you tell them you, look, I love you. I mean, that make their stomach full. The way, even if you ain't got the money to send them, that still make them feel like, look, I'm good with just somebody telling you you love them, saying that they love you. I mean, some people don't have that, saying, some people don't.
Yeah, I would have to say family and God, Jesus Christ. The Alpha, the Omega, the man up high. When times when you need to find hope, you just read and just pray on it. And when things, you really want to happen, you really want to go your way. I mean, the only person who really knows you and knows your heart is God. You got a former relationship with Him. And me, being brought up, through the church, just kind of drifted away once I, lost connection with my family. I mean, you start to find Him again, but everything happens for a reason, what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you be forced to be in a position where, you gotta pay Him attention. Like, you gotta talk to Him, you gotta reach out to Him, because now your family out there, and you around some people, you really truly don't know, but you know God. And sometimes I feel when I go to God is, to talk about all the sins I committed and get the confessions out the way, and know that, okay, well, God, I want to move forward. Sometimes you have to, eliminate all distractions and stuff, and really just like hear His voice, like really hear Him speaking. Like when I was telling D the other day, like I wanna fast, you know what I'm saying? Just drink water, or eat like almonds or something, and like don't even listen to my MP3 player, my music. I just want to just really, take the time and focus on Him, and so He can tell me my purpose. You already know who you truly are, but He can tell you your purpose and the goals you wish to achieve. By me praying, I mean, things happen good for me. I'm at a job where I was working at. Me being on trustee, and just me being, sent here to this work facility, not transferred to another camp upstate or something, satellite camp,
Well, thank you so much, Damien, Juan, and Mack, for sharing your stories and your perspectives with us. And thank you, Kristen, also for facilitating. And audience, thank you for your great questions. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of them today, but we're going to talk further with these men, and we'll post answers to your questions on our website when it's up. We hope to see you all back here for 2 more events that will take place in March and April of this semester. And if you want to learn more about FPEP, please write to us at fpep@furman.edu. Good night. Thanks so much.